Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Today's episode is powered by Perfect Sports Nutrition. Today's video is a preview of the workouts and lessons that you will get at bazookatraining.com. If you like it, head over to the website bazookatraining.com, sign up, and get all these workouts. There's over 300 to learn from. All right, let's get into today's video. Boom! Welcome back to bazookatraining.com here in the bag workouts section. Today, you notice we have no bag gloves on, and we're gonna work on conditioning our hands and learning how to punch. When you put big gloves on, you don't necessarily learn how to hit with the proper knuckles. And then what happens is your knuckles are weak if you have to use them. So we're gonna toughen them up to make you good power punchers with good placement. Okay, so right on the bag, we're gonna start. And now some of the tips I wanna give you to start. You don't want to be scraping your hand on the bag. This is how you damage them. So start nicely and just make sure you just pop the center. You don't want to start too hard where your knuckles are literally scraping. Especially when we start looking at hooks, this is when your knuckles start to bleed. The idea is small little trauma to your knuckles to help you find the placement. Then when you put a big glove on, you can really feel your knuckles and get a better punch. So we're just going to start with our jab, okay, and our cross. So when I jab, we're focusing right now on landing with the two big knuckles of the fist, okay? Now, when you do bare knuckle, the alignment is the most important, okay? You want to make sure your knuckles are in line with your wrist. If they're off, this is how you can really damage the wrist, okay? So we're going to practice our straight punches. Now, I like to mix vertical punches with horizontal punches, okay? Making sure I'm constantly landing with the big two knuckles, all right? So that is the focus now. Find all the power into those knuckles, and then as you get a little bit more comfortable, right, you can start adding a little bit more pop to the punches, all right? Constantly focusing on landing with the big two. Now, even when it comes to our hooks, we still want to land a lot of times with those big knuckles. So we're going to start looking for jab with the two knuckles, rear hand with the two knuckles, and a hook that is landing with the two big knuckles, okay? So finding your jab, cross, hook, and finding those two big knuckles at the same time, okay? I could even now introduce a rear hook, okay? Bang. If you notice my hand position, you can see I'm leaving that little space. I have to adjust my elbow positioning to make sure that these two knuckles are landing well, okay? As I mentioned, if you throw a hook and they slip, this is when you scrape your knuckles. You're gonna get a scar, and then every time you train, even in your big gloves, your knuckles are gonna start to bleed, okay? Now, it's important to focus on the bottom two knuckles as well. A lot of times if you punch, you end up landing with these two, and because you don't train them, this is where you can really start to break your hand, all right? So now for the bare knuckle here, I'm gonna start practicing punching on a more of an up angle now so I can land with the bottom two, okay? So bang, hitting up, hitting up, hitting up. Even sometimes when I shovel punch to the body and I level change, I'm gonna hit with these two knuckles as well. Bang, okay? So I have the straights with the bottom two. I can go to the body, even some hooks. I'm just constantly touching. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is whether you're throwing a straight, a hook, an uppercut, you have to decide what knuckles you want to land with, okay? It's not good enough to just throw your hand in any direction. You got to aim your knuckles at the target, okay? So sometimes I even have to adjust my wrist to find those knuckles and dig them in a little bit more effectively, okay? So now for the rest of this second round here, I want you to consciously, you know the jab, the cross, the hooks, okay, the body shots. You consciously need to pick what knuckles you're gonna pick. Big two, you know, big two, bottom two, big two, okay? So it's more of you placing which knuckles you want at which time, okay? Nice and light, making sure you're picking the spot. Now, when we do bare knuckle training, okay, or shadow boxing, one of my pet peeves I want to bring up is people who leave their thumbs out, okay? You don't want to get into that habit of leaving your thumbs out. Learn to tighten up your hand. Learn to make a fist. And I think even being in a big glove, because you can't hook your thumb position like you would in a bare knuckle fist, people have the habit of these thumbs being out, okay? So let's learn a proper fist, okay? Get your thumb protecting and blocking these two knuckles so you can hit and keep your hand nice and safe, all right? So a couple more seconds here, and we're finding the knuckles, okay? Bottom two versus big two, and adjusting levels and body, okay? Now, when you throw traditional punches on the bag and you're boxing traditionally, it's easy to pick your knuckles, okay? But in reality, the shots that hurt your hand a lot of time are the ones that come on an odd angle. For example, if I'm throwing an overhand, I might only hit with one part of my hand, a different part of my hand. So this is where we need to be extra safe and look for these off-angled shots. So I might body work for overhands, different shovel hooks, right, to overhands. I'm finding off-angled shots with it, okay? Now, when you've watched some of my knuckle conditioning videos, what I like to do a lot of time is I'll hit my hand in different angles and position, because if I'm gonna ever hurt my hand, it's gonna be hitting in an off angle, an off position, okay? So you need to be very precise with the knuckle placements, all right? So now, you know the basics, you know which knuckles to land with, you know how to manipulate your wrist to be able to hit with those, right? Bottom two knuckles, my wrist is in line with the bottom two knuckles, right? If I'm gonna hit you with a vertical with my top two, my wrist pops down versus up. Different positioning to penetrate and dig those knuckles in. So now I want you to box like you have gloves on, and I want you to play with your level changes, hit on the outside, and mix your punches, verticals, horizontal, body shots, overhands, keep the head movement, different combinations, okay? Keep the punches nice and smooth, nice and relaxed, okay? Don't over punch, okay? Even if I'm doing all of these little shots, I feel my knuckles bruising a little bit, right? You can see the redness build up. That is good. If this is your first time ever doing this, you should be playing just touch with the bag. Literally, you just want to touch nice and soft to move. As you get more comfortable, then you can start whipping more power shots, okay, getting comfortable. But you got to play with your skill level, your IQ, and how much conditioning you have. Now, we're doing this bare knuckle. A good tip for some who this might hurt their knuckles, I'd recommend doing this with wraps on, okay? So there's a big progression. I would say if you're used to very big gloves, some people hit the bag with 16-ounce gloves. I recommend going to a 10-ounce glove first. Help feel the knuckles a little bit more. After you're used to a 10-ounce glove, I would go even down to now a traditional bag glove. From a traditional bag glove, then you move into wraps only. After wraps only, then you can transition to bare knuckle, okay? So that is the transition you can use if you're used to big gloves. But I honestly feel by punching bag or pad in big gloves, it's taking away your use of how to punch properly, how to use your knuckles, which again is a big part of the sport. Even though I fight, you know, in 10-ounce gloves, every time I hit pads, I'm looking at penetrating my knuckles through the target, okay? And you should be doing the same. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and we'll see you next time here at bazookatraining.com. Welcome to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA online training. I'm Bazooka Joe Valtellini, the owner here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Over the past year, I've designed and created a website to teach Bazooka curriculum at home and across the world. The purpose of this website is for you to, one, hit your fitness and health goals, all while learning world-class martial arts instruction from me. The beautiful thing about this website, it's geared for all levels. So if you're learning martial arts for the first time as a beginner, we help you progress into the bigger stages. And if you're a pro fighter, guess what? We have different fight concepts for you to improve your tool set and your skills in the ring or cage. As the fastest rising kickboxing world champion and a lifelong martial artist with over 30 years of experience, I've been able to combine my passion for martial arts and teaching to create this website. This website is going to give you some of the tricks, secrets, and inside look at some of the training I use to win my world title. Once you subscribe to this site, you're going to be getting weekly training videos and tutorials that you can do from anywhere. The sections are broken up into 3 parts. The first is bag workout. So if you have a bag at home or at your gym, you can use these workouts to supplement your training. The second is at-home workouts. A lot of us don't have the room for a bag or a bag in general, so these workouts are for no equipment needed and you can do them anywhere. And finally, the tutorial section. If you're having any problems with a specific technique or fight concept that's covered in any of the workouts, go to the tutorial section, learn the technique, and then go back to the workout, and this time, do it with proper technique. One of the added benefits once you subscribe is the forums section, where you can get a more personalized experience where you can ask questions and I'll be able to go in there and answer them. It's all about building a team and a community of martial artists helping each other grow. So subscribe now to get access to all the videos plus more so you can be part of the squad here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA.